This is NBC News for Universal Kids. I'm Savannah Sellers, and here's your Week in Review. Kids learning to fly. Right now, the United States has a pilot shortage. So new aviation programs for kids, started by the airlines and the military, are encouraging minorities and young women to reach for the sky.
I'm gonna be an airline pilot and fly this kind of plane.
Good to see you. Welcome. How you doing today?
In Chicago, Illinois, the Aerostar program takes students on a field trip to O'Hare Airport.
That's your engine exhaust.
One of the busiest airports in the world.
So where are we right now on this?
And the kids learn about how planes work.
This is the altimeter.
And it just felt easy and natural getting in the pilot's seat and, taking over.
The Air Force has a new pilot program for high school students, and some students will get their pilot's license even before they get their driver's license. But it isn't easy.
At our age, it requires a lot of self-discipline, self-motivation, intelligence, drive.
They practice flying for more than 1,000 hours. The Bison Roundup. In South Dakota's Custer State Park, the Autumn Roundup is an annual tradition that goes back more than 50 years. Volunteers help round up and bring in the herd of bison or buffalo that roam on the protected range inside the park.
Seeing the bison herd just moving as one, it's majestic.
At one time, millions of bison roamed across most of North America. But in the 1800s, wild bison were hunted and killed until only a few hundred remained. People took action to protect the remaining bison, and now these mammals are thriving, and the park's herd is growing.
We're about 1,350 head roughly this year. Our capacity is just under 1,500, and we've been growing the herd to that.
Bison can grow to be 6 feet tall and can weigh more than 2,000 pounds.
Watch that gap.
The Roundup brings the buffalo in for their annual checkup. They're examined for disease and pregnancy, and the new calves are branded and vaccinated. Thousands of people from around the world come to the Roundup, lining the hillside to watch the buffalo thunder across the prairie. Maybe one day you can volunteer to help bring in the herd. And now, have you seen this? It's the Kepler space telescope that's been cruising through deep space for 9 years. Well, it's finally run out of fuel. Kepler discovered more than 2,600 planets outside our solar system before NASA had to retire it in October. Jacinda Ardern.
Today we celebrate our diversity.
Ardern is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, a country made up of islands in the southwest region of the Pacific Ocean near Australia.
Help us to build a future New Zealand can be proud of.
Her accomplishments in office include raising wages for workers and boosting their benefits. She's the youngest female leader in the world, but right now she's making headlines as a mom. Ardern is just the second elected world leader in modern history to have a baby while on the job.
Women multitask every single day. Can I be a prime minister and a mother? Absolutely.
The first woman was Pakistan's Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, and that was almost 30 years ago. Ardern is breaking ground for women in more ways than one.
I don't think there's one rule book for leadership.
After she had her baby, Ardern did something no world leader has ever done. She took a break from work called maternity leave to stay at home with the baby. And when she came back to work, she brought her baby girl with her to the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Now there's a woman and a mom who's making history. The Rockefeller Center Christmas Tree. Every year since 1931, a Christmas tree has announced the holiday season here at Rockefeller Center in New York City. This year's tree is a Norway spruce, weighing in at around 24,000 pounds and standing 72 feet tall. That's twice as high as a telephone pole. The 2018 tree is from Wallkill, New York, and it even has a name.
Yeah, we call her Shelby. She's majestic.
Seems like she's smiling, she's very happy.
The couple who donated Shelby is thrilled that the tree will be bringing joy to so many people. The tree arrived at Rockefeller Center in November on a flatbed truck. From there, it was put in place and a huge scaffold was built around it. Master tree decorators wrapped 5 miles of brightly colored lights around it. And then the tree was lit at a big ceremony broadcast all around the world on NBC. There's so many lights! The tree stays up until January 7th. After that, an organization called Habitat for Humanity uses the wood to build houses for those in need. And now, have you seen this? It's the literal star of the show. The brand new tree topper weighs 900 pounds, has 70 spikes, and 3 million crystals. It took 2 years to design and build, and with all that bling, it can brighten even the darkest December night. The New Year's Eve ball drop. Every year on New Year's Eve, over 1 million people pack Times Square in New York City and huddle for hours in the freezing cold to watch this crystal-covered ball drop. Ever wonder how this tradition got started? 150 years ago, the ball drop wasn't used for celebrating a holiday. It was used for telling time. That's right, it was used as a clock. They were called time balls. Twice each day, the ball would move from the top of a pole to the bottom to let people know when it was noon or midnight. But in 1907, the time ball got a new use. That year, fireworks were outlawed in New York City, so people there needed a new way to celebrate the new year. And the Times Square ball drop tradition began. So how does the rest of the world ring in the new year? Well, it gets noisy in Japan, where they ring bells 108 times. In Romania, people dress up as bears, dancing to chase away evil spirits. And in Denmark, people smash plates for good luck. You may have your own traditions to celebrate the new year. However you do it, have a happy 2019. And now, have you seen this? Surf's up in the Arctic Circle, that is. These surfers are riding the waves in near freezing temperatures off the coast of Norway. Proof that some surfers will go to the end of the earth for a good wave. That's your look at this week's NBC News for Universal Kids. Now, go join the conversation.